Did you know that all women are shapeshifters? No matter if we choose to harness that power or not, if we are born into, if we incarnate into a female body, we also have access to the skill and the power of shapeshifting. When we as women claim our power as healers, as wisdom keepers, as witches, oracles, as priestesses, it is because we have understood and draw wisdom from our shapeshifting nature and can channel it into various expressions of the divine feminine, the wild, awakened feminine. Of course, you don't have to become a priestess or a witch to connect with your wild shapeshifting nature and energy. It really is a tool available to all women, no matter if we choose it as a path to self-initiate or if we want to deepen it as a skill that helps us to be of service to others and the wider world. By introducing you to the art of shapeshifting, I'm about to let you in on one of the best kept secrets that keeps us women from becoming empowered, yet it is hidden in plain sight. It is a unique and potent gift those of us who inhabit a female body gain access to. Through the rites of passage, our female bodies so graciously offer us throughout our life. The first rite is the menarche, when we have our first moon, our first bleed. And it is at this power, precisely at this threshold, the menarche, that most women receive an imprint of shame. That which should be celebrated, that which should be an empowering experience, the moment when we access our power as women and enter the cycle of female initiations, is often a moment of embarrassment and shame for many. And in that key moment, we learn to distance ourselves from our feminine magic and from our feminine power. And ultimately, we distance us from ourselves. From that moment and onward, a woman's power is no longer her own. And instead of growing up to become the powerful, magical creatures that we are, we become insecure, submissive, people-pleasing, and our shape-shifting abilities as women are thwarted to serve the current exploitative structures of modern society. So I'm not saying this to shame or blame us women, right? We were girls back then when it happened. And we had no chance to make better choices for ourselves. In a healthy society, key moments, such as the first bleed, would have been marked through celebration, through ritual and ceremony. Something we're not only lacking in modern day society, we have turned tables and have made the sacred moment in a woman's life into something that is shameful and not to be talked about. But back to shapeshifting. I will reveal to you in a moment why I believe women are shapeshifters by nature. But first, let me talk about the nature of shapeshifting itself and how it works, what is the dynamic of shapeshifting on a spiritual level. So shapeshifting is an ancient supernatural practice used by shamans since the Paleolithic. So we're talking 20,000 to 40,000 years ago. And it worked like that shamans accessed trance state and the consciousness was altered, and that allowed them to shapeshift into an animal, as can be seen in the cave of Lascaux in France, for example, where you have a birdman, so a human, where the head is a bird head and the rest of the body is a human body, or the lion human, which is half lion, half human, and can be seen in a figurine made from ivory that has been found in a cave in Germany, in Hohensteinstadel, in the south of Germany. So the ability of the shaman to shapeshift was absolutely crucial for him to be able to practice his magic and successfully, because it gave him wings to fly and to travel into the spirit realm, where he was able to seek healing and well-being and prosperity for his tribe. But how did the shaman acquire this skill of shapeshifting, and what are the correlations between a shamanistic initiation and the initiation women receive through living in a female body, right? There are obviously like huge cultural variations on how shamans were initiated. But often the initiation starts with a spiritual crisis where everything seems to be falling apart. And this crisis manifests itself then in a physical or a mental illness that the shaman in becoming has to heal in order to access his shamanic powers, right? So, and this step of, where everything falls apart is necessary. It's a necessary step, because what happens is that the self is cracked open. The ego is taken apart and crumbles. It is a ritualistic death, a dismemberment, so that the shaman in the making can remember his essence, his spirit self. Because a shaman, a healer, cannot rely on the ego to do his healing work properly, because the ego is of this world only, and it cannot reach the spiritual realm, and ego consciousness is therefore very limited and primarily concerned with his own survival and security. So to be of service, the shaman must be rooted in the spirit realm and connected to the nature of his true essence. Otherwise, his ego will get in the way and he won't be able to be of service to his tribe to the best of his ability. The ritualistic experience of dismemberment, it dissolves the ego and it connects the shaman to his eternal divine self and makes the structure of his consciousness such that it becomes open and soft enough to travel into the spirit realm and to receive messages and guidance from it. The female path of initiation through embodied experience of the rites of passage laid out for us as women is very similar to that of a shamanic initiation. When we as women go through the rite of passage that initiates us into womanhood, the menarche, which means the beginning of the moon, like I said, we become cyclical cyclical creatures We become cyclical creatures. We are then waxing and waning with the moon. And as women, we move through the energetic blueprint of all 4 seasons in the span of just 1 month, where we move through winter, spring, summer, fall, and back into winter. Not one day is the same. And I feel I can't repeat that enough times, like how profound that is. In a woman's life, not one day is the same, because we are cycling. Our energy levels, our mental clarity, our sexual desire, our social capacity, our need for sleep, what our nervous system can hold shift according to the carefully orchestrated dance of hormones that shift every single day. The hormonal system of man, or let's rather say the hormonal system of a male body, on the other hand, is stable, it's reliable, it's a 24-hour solar cycle. The male hormonal system is like a mountain range. It's kind of unbothered, strong like a rock. And women are like the weather, always changing, never the same. And it is this physiological porosity and sensitivity that crack us open, that soften the structures of our persona, our ego. As women, we're constantly asked to surrender, to let go, to adapt. And having to flow with the movements of our internal weather systems, we are constantly cracked open, softened. That's why our female bodies are our spirit guides, guiding us on our spiritual path, if we listen carefully. Our bodies are permeable, they are liminal, they're open to the magic of the other world, because we shapeshift every month from mystery, from the mystery of the womb into maiden, and from maiden into mother, and from mother into crone, and back into the mystery again. Our liminality, our fluency makes us vulnerable on one hand, but allows us to receive messages from the spirit realm more easily, because the portal is always a little bit open. And because there is this liminality and this softness and surrender and openness, we become the brilliant, intuitive healers, midwives, oracles, priestesses, artists, gardeners, cooks, entrepreneurs, teachers, leaders, and moms that we are. Our bodies are tuning forks, attuned to subtle energies and magic. It really is what our cycle teaches us. A woman who cycles is a shape-shifting creature, and it doesn't stop there. The next step of initiation is motherhood. That's a whole new level of shape-shifting and dissolution of the ego. Just like the shaman is initiated through dismemberment, through this ritual death, the next rite of passage on a woman's path following the menarche is matrescence, the becoming of mother. It is a profound initiation. It's like the ultimate ego death, a physical and spiritual dismemberment. Our bodies become a portal for another soul to incarnate into this world, and who we were up until this point needs to die in the process. Our bodies become the soil to feed and grow our babies. The minerals of our teeth and bones go into the growing of the baby. Our breasts soften because milk ducts develop and our hips widen. Pregnancy is a shamanistic initiation. And during birth, we not only birth our child, we also birth ourselves as mothers, or mothers in becoming, because the initiation is far from over, only because the baby is born. I'm aware that not every woman can become a mother or wants to become a mother. And while there are other forms of matrescence than giving birth and bringing up a human being, I also want to acknowledge the real power and profundity and life-altering depth of the experience of birthing another human being into this world. Well, it doesn't stop there. Towards the end of our fertile years, we as women go through yet another rite of passage, perimenopause, that leads to sagescence. Like we have matrescence and then we have sagescence. It's a term coined by Jane Hardwicke Collins, which I absolutely love. I think it's such a beautiful term, sagescence. Perimenopause is a several-year-long transition that every woman goes through, where the cyclical pattern is broken open and falls apart, and we are reborn back into the hormonal state we were in before adolescence, before the menarche. And perimenopause is yet another process where we're cracked open, where we're asked to let go of our old self and our old form, our old routines, our old patterns, to root ourselves deeper into our essence, and to be reborn into menopause after perimenopause is really like the calm after the storm. At least that's how I imagine it must feel. Sagescence or elderhood is also the time where we as women arrive at the pinnacle of our power, as healers, as shamans, as witches, as vulvas, as wise women and priestesses. There is this Native American saying that encapsulates this beautifully. It goes like this: at her first bleeding, a woman meets her power. During her bleeding years, she practices it, and at menopause, she becomes it. Isn't that beautiful? Like, we're told as women that when our fertile years are over, that's it. But actually, that is when we harvest the life we've lived, and when we really become one with that mysterious, life-giving power. Humans are one of the few mammal species where women, or the females, go through menopause. And according to the grandmother hypothesis, it is because communities thrive when they're led by wise female elders. So if we as women allow ourselves to be apprenticed by our beautiful, beautiful bodies, allow them to be our temple of worship, our oracles, our spirit guides, we have access to magic and wisdom so deep, so profound, that it can heal the world. I'm in no doubt of that. Not because we sacrifice ourselves, but because we stand firm in our power. A woman fully embodied and connected with her cycle is a force of nature. By ignoring the profound moment in a girl's life that is the menarche, by shaming us women for our blood, by controlling birth and fertility, and by shunning menopausal women, instead of giving them their rightful place as leaders, we women are again and again distanced from our power. And when we're distanced from our power, we're easily manipulated into becoming people-pleasing chameleons, sacrificing our magic and giving until we're burnt out, being everything to everyone and always playing nice. And honestly, I don't blame us, because I have been probably the greatest chameleon of all time. And it's not so long ago that we were burnt on the stake for as much as opening our mouth, right? So yes, I understand. Yes, I know. But I also know that we really need to change that, for the world, but even more so for ourselves. The world yearns for feminine wisdom. The world yearns for women who dare to be shapeshifters, who are maybe afraid of the consequences, but do it anyways. We need shapeshifters. We need women who run with the wolves. We need women who walk around clad in nothing but their silky skins. Women who embrace and courageously embody their wild, shifting nature. And by doing so, have access to the spirit realm and access to wisdom and inspirations and magic that is so needed for the healing of our society, just like the shaman shapeshifts so that he can gain insights, that he can gain wisdom in order to heal and to support his tribe. Women have that same role for society as a whole. We have that gift and we need to use it. We really, 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 really need to use it. Because if you live life as a chameleon, what happens is, on the one hand, you're supporting structures that harm us all. And on the other side, you're robbing yourself of your life force, of your creativity, of your expression, of your beautiful, unique expression that is so needed in the world. So please, women, do it. Be the shapeshifters that you are. So much